Hello, beautiful. Today we're going to be talking about how not to compare yourself to others and how to deal with self-deprecation and just being too hard on yourself in general. And I'm going to start with comparing yourself to others, why it's not a good thing. And this is something that I've always had, well, not always. I've had a hard time with it for a while. And before I get into anything really, lately I've, just the people I've been talking to and the things that I've been listening to, podcasts, have just been talking about this stuff. And I've had this idea in mind for a while. And it's almost like I'm just getting nudged towards it like, yeah, you should totally do it. Here's some ideas. And I keep thinking, yeah, I was already going to say that. You're ripping me off already. One of them was the Smosh podcast, the Smoshcast. And it grinds my gears a little bit, but I'm glad the word is out there. So you may have heard a lot of this before, but this is just what I've been doing, and I can say that it's been working for me. And there's a lot of stuff that I talk about in my videos that might not work for everybody, so don't be discouraged by that. Find what works for you. Find other resources. Get some help. So yeah, self-comparison. One of the best advice that I've ever received in my life came from my first mission president on my mission. And at that time, I think I was maybe a quarter through my mission. And so I was still learning French. I wouldn't say I was still learning the ropes. I had a good handle on stuff, but I had a hard time comparing myself to other missionaries because I could see they were doing better than I was. They were doing better with the language. They were doing better at teaching. They were doing better in results and just all this other stuff. And we would have these one-on-one interviews every now and then just to check on us and see how we're doing. And one of the things that he said was, don't look sideways. Don't compare to the people on the left or the right of you, but compare yourself to yourself. Look at where you were 2 weeks ago and how much growth you've made since then. And that helped me out a lot. 2 weeks before, I was having trouble with this piece of grammar, and now I could do it no problem. And when I would notice little things like that, it made me feel so much better about it, you know? And now that it's been 5 years? Something like that since I got home from my mission. I'm dealing with other stuff in life. I'm dealing with the fact that other people that I knew and grew up with, they have families now. Or they're very graduated and I'm very not. Stuff like that. So it's not so much I can just look back 2 weeks and notice the difference in those respects. But what I can do is focus on different areas. I can focus on where I was 2 years ago with my mental health and how much growth I've made in that respect. And I can focus on losing my train of thought. What was I gonna say? Let me see if I can read my notes. Give me a second. That was oh yeah. I made an analogy for myself. You know how I love analogies, and this is another car one. So maybe I'm driving a 1995 Suburban or something. I'm not a car person. I just picked a car. So I'm driving a 1995 Suburban. It's not new. It's nothing flashy. It's kind of bigger than I want it to be. But it's my car. I'm driving it. And I'm taking care of it. I'm checking the oil. I'm rotating the tires. I'm doing everything I should, and it's okay. But it's not as fast as I'd like it to be, and it's not getting to the destination as quickly as I want it to be. And I look over into this lane over here, and this guy, he's driving a Lamborghini, and it's super fast, and he just speeds past me. I'm like, man, that guy's obviously wealthy. He's quick. He's doing well. But what I don't know is, maybe this guy has no idea how to take care of his car. He just got it today, but in a couple of days, he might wreck it because he's driving it recklessly. or because he's doing things he shouldn't be doing in the correct ways. And so he's going to wreck it. I don't know if he just put himself into debt to have that car. I can't see all that. All I see is the car that he's driving. So I compare myself to his Lamborghini, or I compare my 1995 Suburban, and I'm being so down on myself, but I'm doing great. I'm getting to my destinations. I'm not racing him, and that's the thing. Life isn't a race. I don't need to beat the other guy. I need to go at my own pace, take care of my own car, and make sure that it's in its proper condition. And so that's what I've been trying to focus on. Or I've been setting goals. I can see someone, instead of being down on myself and saying, man, I will never be where that guy is. Instead of that, I can say, I really am happy for this person for where he is. I like what he's doing. What do I need to change? What do I need to do so I can get there? And then I write it down and I start working on it. And that's something I've been doing lately. I just finished working out before I started recording this video. My brother let me borrow a Shanti cardio DVD, and my legs are screaming, but it feels good. And a little bit of a tangent, in the Welcome to Season 2 video, I talked about how I've been trying to exercise, and I also talked about how I had a depressive episode. And one thing that really helped was, well, one, I went to bed Friday night before midnight, which hasn't happened in who knows how many years, and I got a full hours of sleep, which never happens. Did I say that full sentence? Full 8 hours. Did I say full? I know, a full 8 hours. And I felt great the next day. I was full of energy. I did some push-ups, and I did some sit-ups. So many sit-ups, I lost track after 5, but if I had counted, you would be so impressed with how many sit-ups it was. And then I did some leg lifts, I did some pull-ups, and I was just still so pumped, and I decided I was going to go out on a run. Even though it was like 30-something degrees outside, I said, I don't care, I'm going to go on a run, I'm pumped. And it was mostly me sprinting for less than a minute and then stopping to cough for most of the time and just power walking. But it was awesome! And I felt great. So exercise is something great to do. I don't remember why I brought that up, but you should totally do it. If you're feeling down, exercise will help. And drink lots of water. I've been drinking lots of water. Oh man, I feel good. Oh yeah, that's why I was talking about it. Yeah, I want to be where I was several years ago, back when I was in decent shape, when I was sexy. I might throw a picture in if my editor will do it. Hold on, where are my notes? So yeah, don't compare yourself to others, compare yourself to yourself. But if you are going to compare yourself to others, do it in a way that's healthy. Okay, so, you know what, we're going to do this standing up now. Let me adjust my stand here. Give me a second, you're going to get a look around for a minute. Okay, here we go. Yeah, we're changing things up. Oh, wow, you light up my life. Okay, here we go. Move my chair. Yeah, I feel like standing. I'm like that inspirational speaker in school. It's cool with the kids. Okay, so this isn't exactly on topic. This video is all about tangents, apparently. So part of the thing that anxiety has been doing to me English good is it's made it harder for me to be good at things that I used to be really good at. For example, I did a lot of theater in high school and a little bit after high school, and I had no problem speaking in front of people. I had no problem getting up in front of a group of people. On my mission, you know, at church, every now and then I would request to give talks, but like, hey, I've got a topic that I think would help a lot of people. I'm just going to do it on the spot, and I would just go do it. But now, ever since I've had anxiety, it's it's changed the way I think. Because even though I don't care what people think of me, I don't care if I'm gonna mess up, but my anxiety makes me believe that I do, if that makes sense. So even though I'll know it's not gonna really bother me, I'll get super anxious, I'll get really nervous. For instance, in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, I always say the name so you know what church it is. Guy or boys can have the priesthood at the age of 12. We start off as a deacon, and then you move up to teacher so deacon at 12, 11 if you're going to be turning 12 that year, and then a teacher at 14, and a priest at 16. And when you're a priest, you can bless the sacrament, right? The sacrament, it's called communion in other churches, but for us it's water and bread. And when I was 16, I was the only priest. There was no other members my age at the time. And so I blessed it every single Sunday for years. Even after I graduated high school, before I went on my mission, I did it loads of times, not a problem. And I haven't had to do it for a long time, but in my current ward, I hadn't done it in so long, and so I requested to do it. I said, hey, can I bless the sacrament today? And so I was pretty excited to do it because it's been so long. So I get up there, and I'm totally fine. And then when it's time for me to do it, my anxiety just shot through the roof. And I was quaking, I was shaking, I was so nervous. And I'm thinking, what? Why? I've done this so many times before. And I did it, and just while I was talking, I don't know if it was audible, but I could hear it. I was shaking so bad. And so the next time I went to do it, because I wanted to do it again, I was like, I'm gonna do this. It's gonna be fine. I know I'm fine. And what I did was something I learned from a book called Furiously Happy by Jenny Lawson. I haven't finished it yet. I started reading it a while back, but I'm really bad at actually finishing the stuff I start reading. And it's kind of an irreverent book, so I wouldn't recommend it to everybody. But she is someone who deals with depression and anxiety and all sorts of other health issues. And she's pretty funny. And she shared some advice that she got. I don't remember who told it to her. But it was pretend you're good at it. And this is something that helps me with not being self-deprecating, being hard on myself. Because that is something that I do. I'll get more in depth on that in a second. But so what I did, I was back there. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes. I was getting ready to bless the sacrament again, and I kneel down. I'm still shaky, but I'm not as shaky as last time. And I remembered that, and I said, "Okay, I'm good at this. I'm good at this. I am good at this." And I only shook a little bit after that. It still shook, but it wasn't nearly as bad as it used to be, and I felt a little bit like my old self. And it's just, it's so frustrating because there have been times where I'll be in a group setting and I want to say something and I can't. It's like my mouth is forced shut. I'm like, I have something to say. I want to say something, but my brain is tightened and I have to force myself. There have been a couple of times where I'll just be like, I have something to add. And then once my mouth is open, I can talk, but I'm still really nervous about it. And it just, like I said, it drives me nuts because I used to be able to do that without any problems at all. But, sorry, this is just vent time. I'm not actually talking about the actual subject of the video. But I have been forcing myself to do things that now scare me. Like, pretty much everything I've been doing. Like I said, I went to choir. That terrifies me. I started going to volleyball on Thursday nights. I have no idea what I'm doing. Normally that wouldn't bother me. But, oh man, I don't know. I just get into my head and it feels like everybody's staring at me. And I think, I know nobody cares. We're just here to have a good time. But then when I do that, when I say, okay, I'm good at this. It doesn't matter. I'm good at this. And then I can slowly calm myself down because I repeat it to myself, and that repetition is going to come back in a minute. but it helps. It's not perfect, but it helps. And yeah, so you don't have to have depression, you don't have to have anxiety to be self-deprecating or to be hard on yourself. It's easy to make a mistake and go, wow, that was really stupid. That was a dumb thing to do. Why would I do that? Or just think, oh man, I'm not looking good today. Oh man, I've gotten fat. Or just stuff like that, okay? And some of the things that I've recently heard some people say that I hadn't thought to put in, but I liked, is just, would you say that to someone else? Would you say that to a friend? Would you say that to a child? Would you say that to your younger self? And think about that, and that's how you can tell that's not a good thing to say to myself. So what you can do instead, and this is something my therapist has told me, is to just focus on changing the way you think. And I have been doing that this past year, and it has helped so much. So what I'll do is if I drop something, even though I'll be ready to say that was so stupid, well, I'll stop myself, I'll say, that was an easy mistake anyone can make. And that's okay. It's not a problem. Or I could say, wow, I messed up right now, but I won't in the future. And even though I know I will make some mistakes, it won't be that big of a deal. Because I know I'm just human. I need to stop putting myself up to this level, but I do need to keep making goals and focus on becoming better without bringing myself down. And going back to that book, Furiously Happy, one of the things that she does to battle depression is, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend this for everybody, but it works for her, is just being happy to spite the depression. Remember how I said depression is trying to be a backseat driver for me? So even though he's whispering things like, oh, you suck, oh, you're the worst, nobody likes you, you can just look at it, look over your shoulder or wherever it is in your car and say, you know what? No, you're dumb. You suck. Nobody likes you. You don't have to be mean about it, but you can say things in spite of it. Make that your goal. You're like, no, be furious about it. And I've been doing that in a different way. What I've been doing is, I got this idea from several places. Remember how I mentioned in a previous video that, because you watched it, that I like when people compliment me. And one of the things that I've had a hard time doing in the past is thinking, when I received a compliment, well, if you really knew me, you wouldn't say that. You wouldn't think that. You wouldn't believe that about me. If you really knew me the way that I know me. And that's another thing that I focused on changing, on rewiring my brain. And not losing my train of thought is another thing I'm really focusing on. Yeah, so compliments. Yes, that's what it was. So instead, what I do now is I take those compliments and I say, you know what? Yeah, that's right. I don't say that out loud, but I'll take that and I'll store it in my brain bank for later, right? And so what I do is, I got this idea from several places. There was a viral video a couple years ago of that girl in the mirror on the sink. She goes, yeah, I love my family. I love my sister. I love my hair. All that stuff. I've been doing that with compliments other people have given me. If I don't necessarily already believe these things about myself, I will turn to things other people have said to me. And if you are unfortunate, because not everybody is as lucky as I have been to have great people in my life, and you haven't had nice things said about you, I'll give you some so you have no excuse, okay? Put this in your brain bank, all right? We're gonna freestyle it, okay? I love your hair. Your hair looks great today. You are rocking that makeup. Those eyebrows are on fleek. Your shoes are fantastic. You don't wear those pants. Those pants wear you. You nailed that job interview, and you are going to nail the next one. That problem you're having, psh, you got this in the bag. You got it. You're killing it. You have an amazing singing voice. Keep working on it. Don't give up. No matter how good you are, or whatever your talent is, oh, you're rocking it. Okay? You did a great job raising us. That one's for you, Mom. You did a great job too, Dad, but Mom needs to hear it more. Yeah, those are just some samples. Take those, put them in your brain bank, use them for later. But I'm gonna give you an example. These are some of the things that I say to myself. You can do this in the mirror, you can do it in the shower, wherever, but you can get furious about it, okay? Okay. Oh man, I don't know, this is making me anxious. Okay, what's a good one to start with? Okay, real quick, I did want to say, the purpose of this is not to fake it till you make it, but focus on trying to believe it until you achieve it, okay? So I just really want you to integrate these things into your brain and start to believe them. People are saying these because they genuinely think them about you, okay? Now, okay, here we go. This is me. All right. I do have a great voice. Yeah, I do sound good when I sing. Yeah, I could have been on ESPN if I actually cared about sports teams and that world. Yes, I'm gonna get pumped about it. I believe that I could have. My voice is deep and scary. Yes, okay, we're gonna stop focusing on the voice. Okay, something else. I do have pretty eyes. I am an asset to the team at work. I do a good job of showing people how to do things. Yes, I do. I'm really good at that. I am a fast runner. I sprint so fast. Yes. Okay. I am cute. Yeah, I am. I could have had any girl I wanted in high school. That is an exaggeration, but someone did tell it to me. Yes. I do have nice shoes. I have cool hair. It's nice and wavy. Yeah. I am cool. Yeah. People do like me. I am funny. I am witty. I am clever. And I do look like Jake Gyllenhaal. But you thought we were done, didn't you? So did I. That's where the video was supposed to end. But there was a couple things I wanted to say. So first of all, I've noticed how much Deadpool stuff I've worn in videos. And I just wanted to clarify, I'm not obsessed with Deadpool. I am a fan. But I just really like black, red, and white together. Jack White knows what I'm talking about. He can explain it to you. And also, I was wearing considerably less clothing while I was working out, but I didn't want to blow people away with my rippling muscles, so I put on more clothes afterwards. And also, I was not happy with that footage. I didn't like the energy I had. It was almost like I had just worked out or something. And there were bits of it that I thought were kind of cringy, you know? So I had planned on just redoing the whole thing, because I didn't have time in the moment, but I haven't had time since then. But also, I stopped to think about it, and I thought that was kind of the point of this video, is not being too hard on yourself. And I mean, I do re-record stuff all the time, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I just wanted to make a point that sometimes, well, for me specifically, for instance, I'll be anxious about saying something or doing something constantly, And there are times where it won't come out, or I won't do something the way that I had hoped it would happen. But the point that matters is that I still did it anyway, in spite of how I was feeling. So I'm gonna keep it for that reason, and also because I am lazy. No, but mostly for that first reason. And there was a couple other things that I wanted to say. The past month or so, my anxiety and depression have just been screaming at me. They've been working overtime, and I gotta admit, it's a little admirable how much effort they put in to my well-being. And I've just been really tired, and I've just been trying to figure out what's going on with that, because I'm doing other stuff, and I realized that my balance is all out of whack. You may recall in a previous video I talked about the balance that can help you out, and that includes balancing your physical well-being, how you're sleeping, drinking water, what you're eating, your emotional well-being, your social aspect, your spiritual, whatever your beliefs are, just being in line with that. All that comes together, and that can really affect how you're doing. And I realized I've been doing great in certain aspects, like working out. I've been around people, I've been out of the apartment, and all that jazz. But I haven't been focusing on other aspects as much as I should. I've been really focusing on being there for other people, supporting them with what they're doing, being around other people, and because that's just what I want to do with my life now. And I want to help people, but I forget sometimes, and this has always been a problem I've had, as I've mentioned before. But I forget that I'm people too, and I need to take care of myself. And I've forgotten that I am chronically introverted, and I need alone time to recharge, and I haven't been giving myself that for about a month or two. And yesterday, this video was supposed to come out like a week and a half ago, but yesterday I had plans and they fell through because my friend, he's been working himself to the bone, and he needed to take care of himself and also relax. And I said, hey dude, don't worry about it. But I ended up not having to do anything. It was just me. I took myself out to Wendy's, and I stayed there, and I ate by myself, and it was nice. And then I went to Megaplex, which is a theater here, and I got myself some popcorn, and I came home, and I watched Toy Story 4 for the first time, and that was a beautiful emotional roller coaster. And it was awesome. And it was just me, and I didn't have to do anything for anybody. Everything I did was for myself, and it was nice, and I recharged a little bit, and I feel so much better. Oh man, this has nothing to do with the rest of the video, really, but yeah, just take care of yourself. You're people too. And I've been reflecting on some other things that I did want to add to that exercise of repeating things to yourself and telling yourself things that you want to believe are true because they are true. And just some of the, I only did compliments, but I think it's also important to just say positive things in general. It can be things that other people have said, but things that you've noticed too. And some of the other things that I wanted to say to myself, and that I have been saying to myself for the past couple of days, is thus: I don't need to do things alone. I'm not intended to. I have people I can rely on that can help me. I have been through a lot, and I am excelling. I am worth it. I am good enough. I do have weaknesses, but I recognize them, and I'm actively working on them. I am constantly terrified and scared, but I do things in spite of that fear, and that makes me brave. I do have anxiety. I do have depression. Talking about that and relating my experiences, being open about my emotions and my feelings is terrifying. Being in front of the camera is terrifying and it makes me anxious every time. But again, sharing all this does not make me weak. It is what makes me strong.
And this
What's he doing?
is to go even further beyond! Beyond! Plus!
So my brother was wondering how I can read my notes without my glasses, because I make the font really big.